Hey everyone, Simplode here with Off Meta Bros, bringing another deck profile video. Today we're going to be focusing on yellow purple Nico Robin from OP09. It's a great leader, has a automatic banish effect when attacking, along with you can trash a trigger card from your hand to add one Rested Dawn. Definitely more powerful on the banish side rather than the ramp side because you can clear your hand pretty quickly and get into a tough situation later in the game. But definitely early on, you can spend the first few turns definitely trashing a card to get some extra Dawn out there so you can put out your big bodies early. So let's get right into it. So first I run two Onamis. Of course, not really for the banish effect because your leader already has banish, but it's a great trigger card to have to KO a 5 or less, or I usually use this to trash early game if I have it, to gain the extra Rested Dawn. So I run two of those. I then run three Kikus, another great yellow staple card to have, especially when your opponent's down to 3 life, because on KO you can gain an extra life. Also, good trigger effect, play it out right from life if they have 3 or less, or worst case, if you really need to ramp the Dawn, you could always use it to trash to get that extra rested. Next, with this deck, especially against the current meta, you definitely have to run some blockers. Helps slow down your opponent. So that's why I run 3 of the Sanji blockers. Great card, don't really need to explain much about this one. Great to have out of trigger, or out of life for trigger. Then I run, this one really makes the opponents mad all the time, especially when you get them from life, because you don't have to trash a card to play it from your life. Great 1k plus, just play a card from life. Play the card from life, it's great. So I run 4 of those. I then run 4, probably if not one of the best yellow cards in the game right now. I run 4 of the 5-cost Namis. It's a great card, especially if you need to clear the board on the opponent's side. On play, you can trash a card with a trigger from your hand, which a lot of the deck is trigger because of the Nico effect. You can trash that card, KO a 5 or less on the opponent's side, and it's great if you have 3 or less cards in hand because you can also draw a card. So it's quite nice, and then, of course, the trigger, same thing. Use the on-play effect, so that's why I run 4 of them. I then run 4 of the new OP9 Nico Robin cards. Great card to play. On play, trash a life if they have 3 or more. So it's great just to annoy the opponent early. That's a great thing about yellow is that a lot of the times you don't really have to do anything to either gain life or trash life. A lot of it's just on play effect. So this is great to have. If it gets to a point where they already are down to less than 3, I'll always use one of these cards to either pitch for a 0-cost event or to ramp if I really need to. Only really need 1. Then getting into the bigger bodies, I run 3 of these new Sanjis from OP9. This card's actually saved me quite a bit in a couple locals. It's a great card to have to play it, rest a blocker if you need to go for game, especially if you have one of the new Nico cards that you'll see later, the 2k that gives your leader plus 3k. It's a great card to have. I usually don't play him unless I need to rest a blocker to go for game. I usually use him for a 1k if not, but I run 3 of him. Then to help with life, I run 3 of the OP8 Linlins. It's a great card. The unfortunate part is you do have to trash a card in order to gain the effect. So I usually play her if I really need to actually gain a life and or to get rid of a card on the opponent's side that may be disturbing to see against your own life there. But on play, Dawn -1, trash a card, gain a life, and then put a character of 6 or less onto the opponent's life face up. So quite nice card to have. I don't think it's as good as the couple cards coming up, but if you do need to gain life quickly, It's a nice card to use. I then run 2 of the 9-cost new Luffys from OP9. I think this is a great card if you need to get card draw along with its rush. You do have to -1 Dawn, so I usually don't play him, of course, until it doesn't matter at the end game, because even if you -1 Dawn, you gain 2 back anyways next turn. So he's a great card to have for if you need to get an extra card or to go for game. Then going into probably my favorite yellow card in the game right now is the 10-cost Aces. Great card. Play it, add an extra life, and then if you have 2 or less life, you can gain Rush. Great to keep on adding life to your total, and then also go for game at the end there if you need to. So I run 4 of him. Then getting into the 2Ks, like I was talking about earlier, the Nico Olivias. These are great, especially to give early plus 3K to your leader for Banish. Plus, if you're playing that Sanji, like I said earlier, it's great to go for game because you just for 1 drop you get an extra 3K on the leader. So I very rarely use this for 2K unless I really have to save myself. I like to save them in hand to be able to use on my leader. Run 4 of the Frankie triggers. These are great. On trigger effect, draw 1 card. Then if you have 1 or less life cards, play the card. It's a great 2K early on, along with if I really need the extra body at the end, I can play them out. I then run 4 of the Goated Yellow Staple Beige. Great card, as you all probably know. On trigger, you get to negate, or not negate, you get to basically keep a character or leader from attacking this turn. So it can, in a pinch, it can save you from losing the game. Another goated card. I run 4 of the 0-cost events. Not much more to say about this card. Basically give yourself an extra life if it's at the bottom, or it's your last life. You can gain an extra life if you trash a card. I also use this to pitch if I need to early on for the effect to gain Arrested Dawn, because not mainly will you need this. I'd rather use this up than a 2K for the pitch, but I run 4 of those. And then finally, I run 2 of the new Dureshis. It's a great little card if you really need to, if you're struggling to find the triggers that you want or trigger cards that you want. You could always use this to help cycle, or if you have everything you need to in your hand, you can use this to trash to gain that extra Arrested Dawn. 2 cards you don't really need to use. Alright guys, and that's about it.